So it's been, I can't believe it, but 10 years since we got started, way back when. A lot of urine in and out of these doors here um, over the years. Learned a lot of lessons, some the easy way, some the hard way. But yeah, it's been a super fun adventure these last 10.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a long time, but then on the other side, it's like a blink of an eye.
At the beginning especially, and especially when you've got a CPA and a chemist starting things off, the company definitely had that flavor. Like, we focused on the science really hardcore and missed a little bit of those softer skills that some of you marketing sales types bring to the table. And we rode with that for a while, just focusing on our mousetrap and building it as well as we could, and starting off with our couple instruments and getting those things built out really well, and then continuing to work on that and expanding what we're offering, and optimizing the things that we're doing, and then automating the things that we're doing, and then trying to figure out how in the world to sell it and how to support it, and which was initially just myself mostly on that end, and then bringing in Dr. Jones, who was a lifesaver early on, transitioning from myself to her as far as the clinical support, and then that's grown into her and Dr. Rice did a fantastic job of building out a team of about a dozen doctors. That's always been our core focus. I mean, you do find people that jump into the lab space that like core competency is more on the marketing and how do you sell this within the market space, and that was always a little bit more of a struggle for us initially, because our focus really was on the science side, and starting with making sure that the model itself was solid and validating relative to gold standard methodology. So for cortisol, we're comparing to saliva, and for general urine testing, comparing to a 24-hour urine, and then comparing the reproductive hormones to serum, and just making sure that the model itself was strong.
One of the things I've appreciated too in the 10 years and working with Mark is seeing Mark work through the science and the diligence to seeking out what is true and what is reliable and what actually helps the patients is always I've really appreciated about Precision. And we don't report analytes where you're like, what are you going to do with that? Oh, I don't know. Is there any literature? No, because you can always, it's always tempting to add more, just to say like, oh, we have, 10 more analytes that we added. Well, what does that mean really? Oh, nothing.
There's some things that build, I think, noise into what you're doing, to where there's an increase in volume of things that you're reporting, but maybe aren't leverageable. And I think the biggest challenge to our test has always been that there's this little treasure chest, but do you have the key to open it up and unlock it and really leverage it to its maximum? And that's something that our education team is really working on now, is creating education that's a little bit easier to sort of dive into and emerge from at different points to become an expert in the different pieces of what we're doing. And we do just have so many impressive clinicians on staff that make this wonderful whole in terms of just the intellectual capabilities that they have of understanding the tie to genetics and the tie to nutraceuticals and the tie to HRT, and there's all these different layers. It's very much the sort of onion metaphor for us. Then there's that other interpretive layer, which takes just as much expertise, but of a different sort. And we definitely have horsepower on that side as well, to help unpack that for people, and then to allow them to become, as you said, that expert themselves, to know how to really use this to change people's lives. But enough about us. Let's talk about providers. Noah, let's talk about our providers that we have, that we want to say thank you to for all of their support over these years in growing what we're doing and taking what we do to the patient level to help change their lives. What do we have for them?
Yeah, Mark, to close out this milestone year of 10 years of Dutch in the marketplace, we're going to be doing a 10 days of Dutch promo for the first 10 days in December. We're going to give something away to someone every day in the month of December leading up to our grand prize. Each day, someone will be able to win a Dutch Complete, a Dutch Plus, a Dutch Cycle Mapping with an Oura Ring, a car, Cortisol Awakening Response with the orthomolecular products from their SOS line. We're also going to be able to get you the tour and taste as the grand prize. You and a significant other get 2 round-trip tickets to the Willamette Valley. You're going to be able to stay at the Atticus Hotel in downtown McMinnville. You get a free Dutch Plus kit that you get to drop off and then tour our building. You're going to get wine tasting at one of the beautiful vineyards here in the Willamette Valley, and you get to eat at the Joel Palmer House in McMinnville, Oregon. So make sure you visit DutchTest.com and click on the banner to learn about all the ways to enter for the 10 Days of Dutch. You'll also want to subscribe to our podcast, you'll want to subscribe to Dutch Digest, and you'll want to follow us on social media so that you don't miss a thing.